Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Jonathan back again with the weekly scuffle, and I'm here to talk about the Miami Heat and what they should do with the 15th pick in the 2024 NBA draft. And of course, I'm going to mention the Donovan Mitchell trade. While I do think a Donovan Mitchell trade isn't out of the realm of possibility, I do not think the 15th pick will be involved in that trade. There is a chance that it is, but unless it happens on draft day, I just don't see it happening because I don't think the Heat would draft for somebody else. I think they would want to draft a player that they see or they think would fit with their team. So that's going to be very interesting. But with that being said, I am now going to give my top five prospects in order, which kind of means that the top prospects that I show have a higher chance of not being on the board when the Heat select. And the first one is Ron Holland. And his draft cycle has been very interesting. At the start of the year, he was in a battle for the number one overall pick. Ever since then, it's been kind of up and down for him. And the the reason I actually even put him on this list is because he actually worked out with the Miami Heat, which just shows me that there is potential that he could fall in this draft if he's taking workouts with the Heat. And there were rumors that the Heat were willing to move into the top five, and questioning who the Heat have worked out and who I think they would have possibly fallen in love with in the draft cycle. Ron Holland's the only name that I really think would prompt the Heat to potentially move on into the top five in order to get somebody. But that being said, I think Ron Holland, he provides a Caleb Martin-esque role for the Heat right now, while also potentially being a great player in the future. I think he has star upside. Multiple time All Star. I won't say superstar just yet. That definitely depends on his jumper and how that translates into the NBA and how it improves in the NBA. Secondly, the second prospect would be Devin Carter, arguably the best fit possible for the Miami Heat. And, I think a lot of other teams see that. They see he's a winner. He's improved every year of his college career. Great defensive intangibles, solid player all around, especially on the offensive side. This year at Providence, he definitely carried that team. He was the best player on that team. And I think as a junior, he really showed that he could be a top guy. And he showed that in the NBA he's going to be a very serviceable point guard, probably a high-end starter. Think of Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, potentially better on the offensive side and not as good as the defensive side, but regardless, still a top-tier defensive player at the point guard position, which is always great to see and somebody that he kind of need. We haven't had a top-tier point of attack defender for a while now, and I think that would be very interesting for the Miami Heat to have. Kyle Lowry was supposed to be that, but I don't think he was in his defensive prime while he played in the Miami Heat. I think Devin Carter definitely would be. I think he would develop very nicely here and has the potential to be a star in the Miami Heat. And now with my third favorite player is Khalil Ware. Honestly, size matters in the NBA. Khalil Ware is basically the Derek Lively of this draft. I feel like somebody that has all the intangibles, but is sort of slept on. I liked him last year for the Miami Heat. He didn't classify last year. He ended up staying another year in college, going to Indiana, and he put up great numbers. He played some great games, and he still has all the ability to become a great player in the NBA. He has the size, 7'2". He has the rim running ability, and he has a jumper, which I think could translate very well to the NBA. And I think his long-term potential fit with Bam could be absolutely amazing. It would give the Heat a rim protector that they haven't had since Hassan Whiteside. And I think, his post work definitely does need work. But in the Miami Heat system, I think he could be an amazing player and a multiple time All Star if all things pan out right for him. But with that being said, will he be there or will the Heat question his lack of work ethic, which that's his biggest negative as a prospect is on some plays he wouldn't really give 100%. And, it could be very interesting to see if the Heat pass on him for that reason. So, with that being said, we move on to my fourth favorite prospect, which is Isaiah Collier. Of course, one of these other guys that was ranked number one at the beginning of the draft cycle. He has fallen since then, and I think his fit on the Heat is pretty seamless. He's a bulldog, quite both mentally and physically. The way he plays, the way he attacks the game and attacks the rim, I think it really shows in his gameplay, and I think he's a great player. I think him on the Heat, it's not going to be right away, but I definitely think eventually he could be a star player, and I think his development on the Heat would be amazing. I think that he could fix his jump shot and help him reach his full ceiling, which could be a very, very good player in the league. While also, I think he could be a great backup point guard for Terry Rozier. If we don't really make any trades, I think his upside is still there. I think his developmental pathway on the Heat definitely makes sense. I think it's going to be very interesting to see if he does get drafted to Heat, how we develop him. And, a young core of Collier, Hawkes, Jovic, surrounding them with Bam and potentially Donovan Mitchell. If you could somehow find a way to keep all those guys, I think would be beautiful, not just for the future, but also for now. I think all of them could help you win games right now. So we'll see if he is the draft pick. I think he is the most likely draft pick as of right now. And last but not least, I'll go with Tyler Smith because I think Pat Riley sees the need to add power forward and size on the Miami Heat. He kind of does remind me a lot of Chris Bosh in the offensive sense. I don't think his defense is quite there yet, but I think offensively, a lefty, a power forward, he's somewhat switchable. I wouldn't say he's super switchable. He might struggle with bigs right away, but I think his athleticism is there, his shot is there. I think he has a solid mid-range jumper. I think it's going to be great. And I think him playing behind Jovic for a while and Kevin Love and eventually earning his minutes could be a very good move for them. I mean, the Heat have been looking for that star power forward ever since Chris Bosh left. And I think Jovic does have potential to be very good. But, adding more talent at the position never hurts. Potentially having Tyler Smith, Jovic, and Bam all in one lineup could be amazing. Could be similar to what the Timberwolves did to the Nuggets. Having a whole bunch of 6'10 guys, switchable, strong, that could all play together. That would be very interesting to see. So with that being said, we'll see how all this plays out. We'll see if any of these guys gets picked by the Miami Heat, and see you next time. Peace.